Hello and welcome to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some book covers that I really enjoy. We've had a couple. We do a daily question in the Wizardly Duo Discord, which is always linked down below. But we were talking about covers a bit recently, and so thought it would be fun to do kind of a cover video, which I believe Boiled Jellyfish in the Discord specifically suggested. So here's talking about some covers that I love and a couple of dishonorable mentions at the end for ones I'm not so much a fan of as well. So some of these are new books that I didn't have when I last talked about covers, which I think I've done like a couple of tags at questions. Some of them I've definitely probably mentioned before, but let's take a look at the list. So first off, we have The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood, and this is one too where I feel like in person it looks even better. I have not heard very good things about this book, but I really love this cover, so I'm absolutely going to be giving it a shot. Just because of it, and it's very simple. That's the interesting thing. Sometimes I like my old school big epic painting type fantasy covers, but sometimes if you do simple right, it just works. And this one with the horn and there's the sparks and everything there, I just definitely like it. One that is a bit more epic as well, and this is one I've only recently gotten, and I have not read this series yet. This is the third book, but When the Goddess Wakes by Howard Andrew Jones, and look at that. So I'm assuming that dragon serpent thing maybe is the goddess. I don't really know. I haven't read this, but I thought the other covers were pretty solid, but when I got this one, I'm just like, okay, that is awesome. And I definitely still really need to try this one. I have book one in my MBR shelves to give a shot, but that's cool. I'm a sucker for big dragons. There'll be a couple of other of those as well. So then a really different one, and for most of my Ted Williams books, like my Memories Are Thorn, I don't have the original covers for, but so this is the later Austin Arndt books, and this is Empire of Grass, which is just super detailed. This is your just really beautiful painting, and I'm really sad that they stopped using this kind of art because it's so good. And I don't know why they would decide that they didn't want to do it well, I shouldn't say that. I know why they decided, because I'm sure wheeling is expensive, but they've decided to not do these anymore. And so it's got some more detail in the back here. But the classic Memories Are Thorn covers, I'm a sucker for those. But I don't know, there's something about this Empire of Grass that's just beautiful. I definitely love Michael Whelan in general. I know a lot of people don't, but I love the Wheel of Time covers. I'm not going to talk about those again because I definitely talked about that before, but I really love those, and just most of what Michael Whelan has done for fantasy covers I have loved. So back to Big Dragon. Of course, got to do Dragon Mage by M.L. Spencer. I'm just, Big Dragon on the cover, there's a really good chance that I'm going to like it. This is one, too, where it's even on the naked hardcover, which is super cool. So it's the same, it's not different, it's the same, but even without the dust jacket. I think this is one of the few books I know that has just the cover printed, so even if you don't have the dust jacket, you still get to see the beautiful cover, though, which is nice. So whenever I'm reading a physical book, I always take the dust jacket off, just so it doesn't get damaged, but this one, I would still get to see the beautiful art. Going to one I've had for quite some time, and this one's pretty simple, but this is the Burning Light by Brent Weeks, which is the last book in Lightbringer. The covers for these books in general, I think, are totally fine, but there's just something about it. It's really simple, but kind of the black and white with just the rainbow, miasma of color around our figure here on the front. I just have always thought looks really cool, and especially for a series that the magic system works with light, it was a really cool idea to do this. So this is another one I thought was pretty cool. This one I've definitely mentioned before, and I think surprising nobody, but the Dinosaur Lords. I love the covers for all of these books. This once again, I've heard not good things about the series. I'm still going to try it because it's freaking Knights on Dinosaurs. This was such an easy cover buy for me. I have the 3 books in this series as well, just because Knights on Dinosaurs. So I hope I like it. Maybe I have a lot of unpopular opinions, so maybe I'll enjoy this more than some, but I could not resist. Now here's an interesting one, because this is a beautiful cover all on its own, which is The Cycle of Fire by Jenny Wirtz. But this is kind of an amalgamation of different covers from the different books. And the actual individual covers are even better because it's just, this has kind of a lot going on combining, but the actual covers of each individual books are also just like really, really beautiful. And Janie Wirtz does her own cover art as well, which is amazing. And this was another one. I saw this and I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm getting it. And I did, and I actually ended up quite enjoying it. So another one as well, which Janie Wirtz in general, speaking of, has some really nice covers as well. And so this one I know some people may not like as much, but the Curse of the Mistwraith, the hardcover I have here, I just really like this style, the way it's done. It's not really realism. It's definitely characters, but it also just tells you a lot about these two characters. You look at the two characters on the cover, I feel like you can tell something about their personality just by how it's looking. So it communicates a lot, and it's just this kind of cool, they're like in ruins with mist, and all that kind of thing. So definitely works for me. I'm a really big fan of the classic fantasy style cover, even though it's not nearly as popular anymore. A lot more things are minimalist. And hey, I started with a more minimalist one that I really like too. A lot of these other ones are more classic. But you do have also a pretty new book, which I feel like this shouldn't be a surprise either, but Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. Just once again, giant dragon on the cover. And Hunger of the Gods 2 also is a really cool cover, but just giant dragon on the cover. Like, how can I say no to that? Going on the back with like the really tiny guy here. I mean, that's just cool. It just simply is. And then I figured I would do one of the Stormlight covers, because I do like these as well. So I have Rhythm of War here, because I like all the covers for the most part, but like the first one was a little more cartoony, and then the art style got a little bit more realistic looking. But this is just the colors, the pattern, everything, the way this one looks, I just really, really enjoy. This is just such an aesthetically pleasing book to me. I love even the spine, the way it looks, this whole design. Absolutely love it. So definitely as a big fan of those. And I've liked the cover art, like I said, for all of those. There's been a lot of just cool stuff done with them also. So, a few dishonorable mentions. One, which if you were in the Discord conversation will not come as a surprise, but will save to last. This is the one I've actually read and loved the series. But a couple I haven't read yet. But so the first one is the third book in a trilogy, and the other two covers are fine, is the crazy thing. But we have Bones of the Earth by Rachel Dunn, and I don't know why this one is the way that it is, but this just looks like such a strange picture with like the perfect triangle of the legs, and it just looks really, really unnatural. The other covers are fine. Like, I don't know what happened with this one, but it always makes me laugh. Like, I got it, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that cover's bad, but I'm like, I'm gonna get it anyway, because I have the first two that I still haven't read yet. Hopefully we'll at some point here soon. But yeah, this one does not work for me at all. The one I mentioned too, because of the fact that it made me think, it's not a terrible cover, it just made me think it was a very different kind of book. Blood of an Exile by Brian Naslund. I don't like the covers, at least this version, for any of the books in this series, but I just saw this and I'm like, oh, this is some like you know, smutty fantasy romance type thing, which is apparently not at all the case, and so definitely something where it made me think that it was going to be a very different kind of book than it actually is, which kept me from getting it for a long time until people said, oh no, it's actually not, it's actually good. So I'm like, oh, I'll give it a shot. And of course, the final one that we got to talk about, because I love the book, I love the series, and this particular book is fantastic. But we got to talk, of course, about Prince of Dogs by Kate Elliott. This is book 2 in the Crown of Stars series, which is 7 books total. And there are a lot of questionable covers in it, but I don't know what was going on here, because the dogs look weird, or the character on the front looks weird. Everything about this is really strange. I don't even know who actually did this particular cover. I wonder if it's somebody I've heard of or not. The jacket art is by Jody Lee. No, I do not know who that is. So, I don't know. I'd be curious to see what the artist's other work looks like, because they're very, very questionable, but this one in particular. And the really fun thing, too, is come to find out that, like, alternate versions of this cover somehow are actually worse. Specifically, somebody posted the audiobook covers, which were by far the worst, but even, like, different... Like, I think there was somebody posted a UK version and they were actually somehow worse than this. And so it's funny that despite being a cover I really don't like for a book series that I absolutely loved. And Prince of Dogs, like the book, that was an easy 5 stars. It was really, really great. It was so well written. Transitions were perfect in that book. And yet that cover, I know, is which, when I saw them, the covers did intrigue me. I looked at them like, these covers aren't very good, but I was interested nonetheless, and I ended up trying the series and really loving it. So if you see Crown of Stars, I know the book covers are weird, but it's a really good series. I have a why you should read video you can read on why I still think it's a really good series. But that's all I have here for some covers that I love and a few fun ones that I'm not such a huge fan of. Definitely let me know in the comments what are some of your favorite covers, and you can always jump in the Discord too and read through if you want to see everything other people posted over the last few days. Or if you're not in the Discord, you can check out, like I said, we do a daily question, which is fun, and have a lot of really great conversations going in there anyway. That, of course, as always, is linked in the Discord. In the Discord is linked in the description, the Wizardly Duo Discord. And I'm doing my outro out of order again, which always messes me up, I think. But make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. And, of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.